Last night we were at Slinger. This week we're taking on a bigger challenge. We're at Bristol for 100 laps tonight in the second race of the Triple Crown Showdown. And we'll have it all for you here tonight in the Misfit Racing League, live on V-Speed. I'm Sky Shrek, and I am joined in the booth tonight by Jacob Reeves. And we've once again got Eddie Smith working the controls on production for y'all. Jacob, why don't you tell us a little bit about Bristol?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, this place right here, it is straight up redneck country right here, Bristol Motor Speedway, obviously Bristol, Tennessee, half a mile in length. 24 to 28 degrees of banking, 4 to 9 on the straightaways. And, you know, it's kind of went through a little bit of a, I guess you could say a revamp. Everybody used to be way back in the early 2000s. Everybody would be right there smack dab on the bottom of the racetrack. Now, a little bit different. Now it's multi-groove. You can be on the bottom, you can be in the middle, you can be all the way up at the top side. Obviously, it was opened in 1961. Got a little bit of a dirt track history. You know, we had the NASCAR Cup Series, all of them, even the trucks ran on here when it was dirt, the dirt late models, all that as well. And also, yeah, believe it or not, they have actually played a college football game right smack dab in the middle of Bristol Motor Speedway, the Tennessee Volunteers, and Virginia Tech Hokies. That's where they played here. And also, MLB baseball, from what I'm hearing, I believe this year, going to be playing right there in the middle of it as well. So last great Coliseum hosting a lot of great sport events.
Yeah, we want to give you a little bit of an update on our point situation coming into this week at Bristol. It's a shorter championship, only 3 races, and we're doing this a little bit like golf. You want to have the lowest amount of points possible. Deegan Smith, your winner last week, is sitting first on 1 point, and then you've got Jake Grout, Michael Wiseman, Justin Crow, Jacob York going down the top 5 from there. There were a lot of penalties given out last week, though, and you see some of the drivers listed further down. Andon Mendenhall, Clayton Edwards, Jake Sylvia, Christian Peterson, Stephen Heitz, and Kyle Turzak all receiving points penalties this race. So it's going to be really interesting to track those drivers coming into this race, seeing if they can recover from last week or seeing if they struggle again. It's going to be a great 100 laps here. Is there anything you're looking forward to, Jacob, tonight?
Beef, honestly, I mean, that's what I love to see right here on these short tracks. Eddie knows what I'm talking about, baby. Beef. It's always when people get mad at one another, somebody maybe get bumper tagged one way or another. You end up having fights, people virtually flipping each other off, however you want to look at it. It's always a great time to watch all that. But, I mean, those are short track tempers, honestly. I mean, that's what you're going to end up seeing. That's what we always see when we go to short track, Sky, whether it's in late models, NASCAR, I mean, whatever. That's what we always see. So it's all going to be about who can keep their temper, I guess you could say who can keep their nerves as calm as they possibly can. Those are the guys that's going to be up front and have a shot to try to win this race.
Yeah, and I mentioned it at the start. It's a big shift from last week, not last night. It's last week we were at Slinger. That track, similar in banking, but it's a lot shorter. It was only a quarter mile long, and we had all kinds of chaos. This week, drivers are going to have a little more room to work, and hopefully that'll help them keep it clean. We're going to send it down trackside right now for the national anthem, and we'll have your starting lineup after the anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
Qualifying just ticking over to 0 now. These drivers have finished up their hot laps, and it'll only be a couple seconds here before we're able to get that grid up for you. A lot of drivers going to get some EOLs, but on the pole, Christian Peterson in the 71. Jake Grout will start on his outside in the 49. Two drivers always fast, going to try to stay up in the top of the field. Jake Sylvia, recovering from a points penalty, will roll off third. Justin Crow in the 86, rolling off in fourth. Cody Dempster in the 17 rolls off fifth. Frank Barbary in the 26, good start for him. He is in sixth. Dylan Calabro 7th in the 16. Ty Dennis 8th in the 11. And rounding out your top 10 tonight, we're going to have Jared Shell in the 34 in 9th. Kyle Turzak did not take a time. It's because he's got an EOL, so he'll be going to the back.
Yeah, and probably a lot of these guys has got those EOLs, like Jackson Lewis going to be starting back in P11 with Kyle Adams starting in P12 as well. There you see Michael Wiseman back here as well with Eddie Smith also back here as well. What the heck, Eddie Smith? He's a producer. What's he doing on there? I guess that's just how it is. But there you see Anthony Yankello will be back there also with Andrew Deemer back here as well. So 16 car field, baby, or 15, I should say, since Eddie Smith's up here producing. But there's 15 cars out there, and all of them is going to be gunning for one thing, and that's to get the win here tonight at Bristol.
Yeah, so starting grid update, Jake Sylvia, another one of those drivers who is the EOL. He's starting third. He will be going to the back with Turzak. In addition, Kyle Adams usually races. I think he's ran every other race in this series, but he'll be working the race control tonight, so he is not going to be out there. Andrew Deemer and Michael Wiseman, both not in the session, and Eddie Smith, our producer tonight, will not be racing either. So that is going to make, looks like about 12 cars here. Should be a pretty good one, though, because you've got some of these drivers like Sylvia and Turzak who are coming from the back, and they're going to have to really drive hard to get up to the front here. Turzak, winner of about 9 races in the main Misfit Racing League season, so we know he can be fast. Let's see if he can do it from the rear.
That'd be interesting. Obviously, I mean, from the rear, that's exactly where he's going to have to go. And, line it up out there in that live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for here tonight. You're pulling for Sylvia, you're pulling for Grout, you're pulling for Crow, Dempster, some of these guys out here, Kyle Adams. We're pulling for old Kyle Adams out here for the Misfit Racing League. Come on, baby. Let's hear it out there in that live chat. Who we pulling for? I got a feeling right now, if I had to take a pick right now out of all of them, honestly, Sky, I got to go with Sylvia. Honestly, just because of his name and what he can do here in these late models, I would watch out for Jake Sylvia. But don't count out Jake Grout. He's good, too.
A lot of good drivers named Jake in this series. You can see the race analysis there. We're doing 100 laps. Pit road speed tonight is 35 miles an hour. I believe we are doing the single pit road, so you've got to come in all at the same time and then do a full loop around the racetrack here. We got 2 tire sets available, 3 green-white checkered attempts, full fuel load, so the drivers should be able to make it the whole way on fuel, but we've heard this track is a bit of a cheese grater in regards to tires, so they'll probably pit for fresh rubber at some point. Open setups as always, and no fast repair tonight. These drivers going to have to be on their game to avoid an accident that could set them back early. Pace car is going to dive down at a 4, and we're getting ready to go. It is going to be Christian Peterson taking the green flag.
Peterson jumps down to the inside. Right behind him, you got Grout. Here comes Grout trying to rock and roll, but Grout's going to get kicked back one spot. Now Grout's going to try to figure out a way to get up here with Peterson. Justin Crow up there on that top side. Dempster down on the bottom.
Already some cars in the wall at the back. This track can be tricky, especially when you're getting forced up high there, like you're the 86 of Justin Crow running back in that 5th position. Run a red car, different paint scheme from what we usually see out of him, and he's got some contact with Calabro. Both drivers making it out okay, but Justin Crow is going to lose the position, and he'll start to slide back towards Jared Shell in the 34.
Yeah, Crow's got to figure out a way to get down in a hurry up front. Battle for the lead is on. Cody Dempster looked down to the inside, but Peterson was able to get the run coming off the corner. Dempster's going to have to figure out another way to get around him. Maybe go high, maybe put the bumper to him. Sky, I would not recommend putting a bumper to him. Still very early on in this 100-lap race, but he's got to figure something out. Dempster is fast.
Dempster up there with a bit of a good fortune. He started right behind Jake Sylvia, who got that EOL penalty. Went to the back of the field. That promoted Dempster to third on the start. He got around Grout pretty quickly, and now he's challenging for Christian Peterson up there in the lead. Still running right behind that car. The inside is the fastest way around here so far, so I would not be surprised if he tries a little bit of a bumper maneuver, but I don't think he's going to go too hard, because if he goes too hard, he might get an EOL and have to start from the rear.
Yeah, and then you may end up having beef, especially, obviously, when he gets back to Peterson, because he'll end up dumping Peterson. Both of them might have to go to the back, and then you got to deal with him back there at the back of the pack, something you don't want to do. Here he goes up a little bit in the middle lane, and trying to work out that multi-groove deal. That's exactly what Dempster's going to do. Dempster around the outside of the 17. He'll take the lead, kick Peterson back to second.
Man, that was a great move. He really made that outside line work there, driving a Cadillac for that 24 of Dempster. I didn't know they made late models, but they made one for him, because he is taking it to the front right now. And Jake Grout, who started up in second, fell back to third, slowly getting closer to Peterson behind.
Yeah, Grout really starting to reel in Peterson behind him. Dylan Calabro is still in a straight-up big-time battle with Schnell. Also, Jackson Lewis back here in this battle as well. There you see Shell down on the bottom side, Calabro up top, Lewis right behind him. Oh, Calabro gets loose, slides up the racetrack. Lewis is going to dive down to the inside. They are slugging it out for that fourth spot. Now Calabro may find a hole right in front of Justin Crow.
Crow finally found his way down to the bottom there after running so much of the first few laps of this race on the top. And you kind of want to run the bottom, not because it's faster, but because it saves tires. It can be really easy to wear out those tires running the top, and we've heard from some drivers that running this track, it really wears your tires down. We heard that, drivers might not pit for fuel, but they likely would pit for tires. So anything you can do to keep that rubber on is going to be pretty good here in the early stages.
Yeah, you want to try to hold on to all the rubber that you possibly can. You don't want to really burn it all up. Right here, smack dab in the middle of a long green flag run. They hit the line with 14 laps on the board. Cody Dempster is still the leader. Jackson Lewis still trying to reel in Jared Shell. And don't count out Grout. Grout, like you were talking about a minute ago, Sky, Grout is starting to reel in Peterson ever so slightly. I mean, maybe Peterson might get him one lap, then Grout will get him another lap, then he may get him that next lap. But really, he better watch his back door. Shell has come on big time. Jared Shell got right up on the back door of Grout, and here comes Lewis behind him.
They're racing really hard right here, back in about third through fifth. Jackson Lewis is going to try to make the run on the top, and we've seen that work. It worked for Cody Dempster to take the lead, and now it's going to be the 7 car trying to get it done on Jared Shell. He's going to pinch that car down to the inside off the corner, and it's going to work out pretty well for him. That's going to be Jackson Lewis up to fourth. He's not content to drop down yet. Next car up, Jake Grout in the 49, running a kind of inverted roof number there. And Jackson Lewis is going to get him on the top. P3 double overtake.
How about that right there? Got him a little twofer right there for Jackson Lewis. And now right behind him, Shell's got to figure something out and try to find his way around Grout. He better watch his back door. Here comes Calabro. Calabro back here with Terzak. And also Justin Crow has seen a little bit of action up there on the top side. Now Grout slides up. Crow falls in line. Calabro down on the bottom, slugging it out for the 5th spot. Front 4 single file. Now Grout able to get away, so front 5 single file, but they're 2 wide right behind them.
I think we're going to see more cars try to migrate up to the top here, because we've seen that moves can be done. And now guys like Justin Crow are going to try to make those moves running that higher line. These drivers are nearly full throttle the whole way around here. They're hitting about 126 going down the straightaways or going into the corners. And then by the time they get into the corner, if they're on the top, they're still going about 120. Really easy to carry a lot of speed around here. You barely even have to lift. And that is helping these drivers keep it in the throttle and make that top line work. Jackson Lewis now around Christian Peterson for P2. I don't think it's going to be very long before he's challenging Cody Dempster for the lead of the race.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, Dempster's really going to be looking at that. There's going to be a little bit of deja vu, if you will, because that's exactly how Dempster was able to get around Peterson. So Lewis may be looking to jump to the top. Dempster may try to jump up and block him, but for now, they keep it right up against the yellow line all the way around the bottom of the racetrack. Lewis now starting to put a little pressure on Dempster. Peterson right behind them. Grout, now he's getting pressure from Shell, and right behind him, Justin Crow putting pressure, trying to get inside the top 5 along with Terzak back there. Jake Sylvia, though, not making up as much ground as I thought he would. I got to be honest with you, Sky, I think Jake Sylvia might be saving some tire wear back here.
He might be Terzak as well, although Terzak has caught up to that 86 car of Justin Crow. We'll send it up the inside of him for P6, but that top does seem to be a little better for defending right now. And Crow is still holding him off on that high line. Out of the corner once again, Justin Crow. Look a little further up, because now Jackson Lewis is riding that top line too. He is within a tenth of Cody Dempster. He's going for that lead on the high side. He just hasn't gotten the run quite yet. He's almost there going down into 3. We'll see what he can do on lap 28.
Yeah, and I'm loving this because Dempster was starting to move up the racetrack and make him go higher and higher and higher to try to be able to make it. He ain't going to be able to slide up anymore. Lewis gets up into the fence. Dempster's still down on the bottom side. Jackson Lewis, wham, 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 sliding right into the wall. And he is going to be able to get by, nose almost at the line. Jackson Lewis has the lead, but he has still got to complete the pass. Finally does. Jackson Lewis takes the lead. Dempster slides back to second. Now you better watch his back door. Peterson and Grout, they're going after second, but Lewis has got it for now.
Every pass made for the lead so far has been made on that top line. So if you want to get going, if you want to try to drive yourself up to the front here early on, gonna be on that outside. That's the easiest way to do it. We've seen it from Dempster. We've seen it from Jackson Lewis. Now the question is one of these guys back here third or fourth? Christian Peterson, Jake Grout, will they be willing to try to get up there and run that top line and blow by these guys for the lead? I'll tell you what, Justin Crow's back in 5th. I think he will absolutely do it if he gets up there. He's run around Jared Shell back there, and he's continued to hold off Terzak on that high line. And as we approach 1/3 of the way through this race, that 86 has some speed, looking high.
Yeah, he's really making a lot of moves back there as well. Right behind him, Terzak trying to figure something out. Front 4 now starting to separate themselves. Here comes Peterson. Peterson looking to the top side, trying to see if maybe he can get a run. Start to mount up some momentum. He's going to slide up on the top side. Dempster's going to keep it on the bottom. Grout right behind him as well. Peterson gets a run, gets right up on the back door of Dempster. Almost tags him going into the corner, and Peterson will get the run. Dempster tries to slide up. Peterson's going to go for second.
Christian Peterson took a points penalty last week and didn't have the race he would have wanted. This is a chance for him to improve his standings. Christian Peterson is working on the outside of Cody Dempster. He'll get P2. Sights now set on Jackson Lewis. This is for the lead of the race right here. Lewis stays on the bottom, but he dices it back up to the top. Maybe a little contact there because the 7 gives a wiggle. 71's going to look down to the bottom, but that 7 holds him off on the top for now, and Jackson Lewis prevails on lap 36.
Yeah, he shoved him going into the corner. He was trying to knock him up there. He got a run. We may be looking 3 wide for the lead. Lewis slides up. Peterson was in the middle. Dempster thought about making it 3 wide, but backed away. Now Lewis up on the top side. Peterson almost comes up. Lewis gets sideways. Almost gets into the wall. They door bang going into the corner. Dempster's going to find a hole on the inside. Peterson gets the lead as Lewis is sideways.
We've seen a couple cars get loose on that top now, but I think that's the most extreme example yet. Jackson Lewis might have used those tires up because now he's back to 3rd, under threat from Jake Grout in the 49, who's moved his way up to P4. And hey, look who's back in P5, Kyle Terzak, winner of so many races in the regular season, 2nd place in the championship fight. He's closing in from dead last up to 5th.
And he's really done it, honestly, Sky, from the bottom of the racetrack. I might be honest, we've been watching this battle up here for the lead, but every time I come back here and I look at Kyle Terzak, he has been on the bottom of the racetrack. You talked about it a while ago. Get up top, you got to burn your tires up. Kyle is doing basically what Jake Sylvia has been doing. Keep it on the bottom of the racetrack, save your rubber, and get it right here in the second half of the race. They're all working around lap traffic. Oh, baby. Trying to go around lap traffic. That was Barbie up here as well. He is going to go to the top side. Everybody's going to go by him. But don't count out Terzak. He's back there saving that rubber. He's going to make a run here in the final half of this race.
It was a good start for Barber. He started up in P6, but it has not been a good rest of the race. First car one lap down for that 26 machine, and now some of these guys back here like Jake Sylvia, who's clawed his way up to 6, are going to have to work their way around that 26 car. He's staying pretty well out of the way. Shouldn't be much of an issue. One thing I've noticed about this race so far is that we set a time for this race of 9:30 in the morning. The track temp from the start of this race to now has gone up by at least 3 or 4 degrees. We were running in the mid 80s at the start. We're up to 91 right now. Track's getting hotter, tires wearing more, and that is going to make tire saving even more imperative as Jake Grout's up the inside of Jackson Lewis for 3rd.
Yeah, Ground's trying on. We got a slider back here in the back. Dylan Calabro got tagged from the back end. He hits the inside rotative wall. No caution yet on the speedway. It looks like he is going to go ahead and park it, so we'll keep it under green. But Calabro got tagged on the left rear, got set around, and Grout was trying to figure out a way around Jackson Lewis, still trying to work that inside lane. Lewis all but sideways. The handling is gone from that number 7. But Grout still trying to put the pressure on it. Peterson and Dempster, they're trying to check out from 3rd and 4th.
I don't think we've seen Grout up on that top line too much. I think he's kind of like Terzak, where he spent much of this run riding the bottom. The only thing stopping him from being up with those top 2 cars is he just can't clear the 7. Even with worn tires, that Jackson Lewis machine is doing a great job of defending. That's how he's held off the 49 car so far, and now Grout is finally going to get a peak, but he just can't do anything with it. That 7's cutting off his run, cut off his run once again right there, and he is still stuck behind that 7 car as we approach halfway.
Oh, boy, Dempster all the way up to the top side, almost got up into the fence. Lewis was right in the middle, and Grout run right all the way on the yellow line. Dempster might have actually overstepped his boundaries a little bit going into the corner. Now Lewis slides up. Grout's going to get there. He's going to get to the left rear. Lewis still sideways. Grout, Lewis going for 3rd and trying to reel in Cody Dempster. Peterson loving every bit of this racing. He is pulling away, trying to see if he can get that gap to get a little bit wider between him and 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
He is, and he's running fast lap times, but the tire fall off has begun. We're half a second or more falling off from where these drivers were at the start of the race. Jake Grout still trying to work up that inside of Jackson Lewis, and you know he does not want to run the top, because the more he tries to push to get around Jake Grout and hold on to this podium spot, the more his tires go, and they're barely holding on already. 49 might have a shot up inside the 24 of Cody Dempster. Here he will. He'll get side by side. 24's got the run out, and he can't stick it there. Dempster back down in front, but he seems to like that higher lane, and it keeps giving chances to Jake Grout.
Yeah, I mean, Sky, you know, we were talking about this at the start of the race, open setups. A lot of these guys, open setups is way different than fixed setups. Fixed setups, obviously, what iRacing will give you. Open setups, these guys can literally build these cars all the way however they want to, from the steering ratios to the tire pressures to the springs to the shocks, everything. I mean, brake bias, everything on these late model stocks. That's the cool thing about these open setups. And some of these open setups might be, I want to run the top, or I want to run the bottom, or run the middle. And it looks like right now Cody Dempster might have had his car set up to run right there in that middle to top lane. Grout looks like his car is very capable of running on the bottom of the racetrack. Grout trying to get a run right here on them in contact. Grout gets hit. He goes down. Dempster goes around as well. Caution out after Dempster and Grout make contact.
Big contact there. We saw it on the onboard, and that's 2 cars hard into the inside wall, taking major damage. They were running 2nd and 3rd at the time. We're going to give you the drivertees.com replay. What happened to Jake Grout and Cody Dempster as we make our way back down onto the straightaway here? Oh, Dempster just tags the fence, bounces it off the wall, and tags Jake Grout, and that sends him head on into the inside wall.
Yeah, I mean, these walls right here, honestly, Sky, they will jump up and bite you in a heartbeat. There you see it one more time. Dempster up top. You got Grout down on the bottom side. Dempster might have slipped just a little bit, might have got tight, slid up, and might have got up into the fence. One of them tight or loose. We'll see kind of what happens right here. See if Dempster just kind of steps out. Nah, looks like he just overdrove it a little bit. Ends up tagging the wall. Grout was looking to the inside to make the pass. Dempster bounces it off the wall just like you said, comes down, gets Grout. Dempster didn't get that bad of it. Looked like Grout got the worst of it. And check this out right here. Both of them right here, bumper to bumper right here. We may have a little bit of beef right here between both of these guys. Either that or Grout's car is just that tore up, and Dempster, obviously, he didn't get tagged any harder than what Grout did.
Yeah, Grout was the one who had that big hit to the inside wall. Dempster taking a little bit more of a scrape there. He hit that outside wall, but he didn't really... I don't think he took quite as much damage as Jake Grout did. He definitely will have damage, and it'll definitely be hard to fix because here at Bristol, the laps are so short, you don't really have any time to get damage repair in. Jake Grout, I think, is going to have the worst of that. We'll see if he can get it back out on the lead lap or even get it back out at all, really.
He's still sitting there. Obviously, Dempster able to pull away right here. So Grout still on pit road, still on pit road. Everybody going by Jake Grout. I am looking to see if maybe he got a meatball flag, but he did not. So he's got to get what damage he can get fixed. Obviously, from what we're seeing on his car, it's still got some dings, some dents, and obviously a lot of damage. But it tries to fire off and not at least go one lap down for this right here. So he's able to beat the pace car out, but he's got a long road ahead of him to try to figure out how to get back up here. And I mean, he was up there at the front, Sky. You had a shot, but that's just one of those things. That's short track racing. At least that's what Joey Logano would say. I mean, this is just short track racing.
It is, especially when you're running like you are at Bristol in such close confines like that. It's going to be Jackson Lewis starting on the front row now after those pit stops, and he will have Kyle Terzak newly up on the front row on the outside. Both of these cars took right side tires only. Peterson took 4, and we're back green on lap 63.
See what old Peterson does right here with those tires is Lewis is now Terzak up here. Terzak going to jump down to that inside. He shoots right past Jackson Lewis. You later, Kyle Terzak from the back. He will go all the way to the front. Lewis is going to get kicked back to third now as Peterson jumps down to the inside. Jake Sylvia out of nowhere had the EOL, had to jump to the back. Now he's up here in the mix trying to go for a podium spot right behind Jackson Lewis. Terzak, he is all clear. He has got a foot to the floor trying to get away.
Battle back there for third. Jake Sylvia, he took a little bit of a peek up the inside there. Couldn't get anything going. He's still running fourth right behind Jackson Lewis in the 7. They're going to try up the inside again, but Lewis is doing a good job to hold that inside. Being a little less aggressive than we saw him on this new set of tires, running right around the bottom, but Sylvia is going to go on that express lane on the top. We'll see if he can get clear of the 7 car going down through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he got a little bit shaky up there on that express lane, as you saw a while ago. A little bit sideways, but he's able to get it corrected. Jump straight down, basically almost chopped the nose of Jackson Lewis. And right behind him, watch out for old Justin Crowe. We saw him up there flirting with that top side a while ago. Now he's starting to make up some ground, if you will. Jackson Lewis now down on that bottom side. Here comes Crowe trying to make a run. Trying to not slap it up into the fence. He gives it a little bit of a kiss down on the top side of Jackson Lewis. And Lewis still trying to hold on for all he can. Crowe almost pinched Crowe up into the wall. Side by side for fourth with Lewis and Crowe.
Jackson Lewis going to try to hold that position, but I think that high line is just too dominant in the early stages of these runs. And with so few laps left, we're already almost 3/4 of the way through this race. You want to use up those tires. You want to run that high line because you don't get those unused tires back. You got to go for it. Justin Crowe knows that, and that's why he's up to fourth.
Yeah, I mean, he's really going to start to put some pressure up here with Jake Sylvia. This is going to be a key right here with these guys. With about 30 laps to go, guys that took those 4 fresh tires, some of them might just gas it up and just send it at this point. Because, I mean, you don't want to do what Peterson did. He just sent it straight under the wall back there in the second spot. He's going to let Sylvia be able to catch back up, but I mean, that's what you got to see right here at this point. With 30 to go, everybody is basically going to be on full send mode right here to be able to try to just get everything that they can right here, because we talked about it as the points premium and everything else. You want to just send it at this point because you want to be able to get as many points or less points going by the golf deal. You want to go get as many points as you can.
Yeah, we're going for as few points as possible. It's like reverse NASCAR here. Instead of trying to get like 50 points a race, you're going for 1, because that is what you get when you win a race, and that is what Kyle Turzak is going to try to get right here. He was another one of those drivers that had issues last time out. He had a points penalty and an EOL to start this race, so he's coming into this race on the back foot. He was 10th in points. This week, he's got a chance to turn that around. A win would give him 1 point, would put him with less points, which would put him more towards the front of the championship. He's opening up a pretty big gap to Christian Peterson. I think we might see Kyle Turzak once again in victory lane.
Yeah, but we still got a long way to go, baby. We got a lot of action going on back here, right behind them. Back here with Cody Dempster trying to see if he can get back up here. Ironically enough, Jake Grout right behind him. You can't even make that one up. You can't even write this stuff sometimes. Dempster with Grout right behind him. Both of them brought out the only caution that we've had so far. And Grout now starting to put pressure on Dempster now. All this going on for the 6th spot. Jackson Lewis has actually got passed by Justin Crowe, so that's a little battle going on as well. But we stay with this battle right here with Dempster and Grout. Both of them trying to get whatever they can get right here for this 6th spot. And maybe some beef between those guys as well.
Ty Dennis and Anthony Yankello were going at it a little further back. 2 drivers we haven't really talked about today, but having pretty quiet but calm days. And Ty Dennis is going to take over that position to 8th, getting around the 79 machine. Anthony Yankello further up the track. That battle still rages for that 6th position, but there's one even further up. Justin Crowe and Jackson Lewis not done yet. They're looking for P4, and then Peterson under threat from Sylvia. That's for P2.
And the only one that really ain't in any threat is Kyle Turzak now, because he's got it out to almost a second. I'd call it 0.8 of a second right now over Peterson. And now right behind him, Lewis looks like he's going to try to muster something up, get that top lane rolling, get some momentum, jumps to the bottom. Lewis on the inside, Justin Crowe. Crowe's going to kick it up to the top. Lewis able to slide by him, take Jackson Lewis up to 4th, Crowe back to 5th. Right in front of him, Sylvia trying to work the bottom side and try to reel in Christian Peterson as well.
We're coming down to the end of this race already here. It's been mostly green at Bristol, and it's been a very quick one. Only 16 laps to go this time around. Kyle Turzak continues to hold the lead with Christian Peterson P2 and Jake Sylvia in P3. Will this podium hold or not? You see these drivers back here, 2nd and 3rd, running all the way up the racetrack, going right on the wall, trying to make time, but it's just not working because Kyle Turzak is chilling on that bottom and pulling away with 15 to go.
He's straight up checking out right now. And now Peterson, he better watch his back door. Sylvia is back there as well. And if both of them end up getting crossed up one way or another, you got Jackson Lewis. Justin Crowe could end up taking advantage and possibly get a 2nd or 3rd out of this. Jackson Lewis started 11th here in this race, and he's all the way up here inside the top 5, so it'd be a good run for him to get a podium. But Sylvia still working on Peterson right now. Lewis just chilling back there on the 4th spot, and so is Justin Crowe back there in the 5th spot. Turzak got it out to a 2nd, but it has stalemated as of right now, Sky. It has stalemated. Turzak was pulling away. Now it's kind of stalemated right around that 1 second mark.
It has, because Turzak is doing what he does best and dominating like he did in so many races in the Misfit Racing League regular season. Kyle Turzak has once again driven through the field, found his way to 1st place, And with 11 laps to go, he shows no signs of relinquishing that lead. Still running faster lap times than the 71 of Christian Peterson. He's done a great job to hold this gap. And as we tick under 10 to go, Kyle Terzak is in prime position.
Yeah, but you know what would really throw this whole thing for a curveball, Sky? A caution. That would really throw this thing literally on its lid. Good possibility right here with some of the hard racing that we're seeing right here. Jake Sylvia and Christian Peterson up here as well. Some of them back there around Cody Dempster and Ty Dennis. They could end up having some action as well. Could end up bringing out a caution. But Sylvia still trying to put pressure on Peterson. Terzak now starting to extend that gap, headed at a second. Now it's at about a second and a half. Peterson not able to run his line how he wants now. That's going to help Terzak because he's having to watch his back door because Sylvia is going to jump down to the inside.
Battle for second on the racetrack. Jake Sylvia started up in third today, and he's got started out back today. He's qualified third, but had the EOL. He has run it right back up to third, and now he's trying to work around Christian Peterson. Still looking to close that gap. He had a peek up the inside, but Peterson, defending well on the top, is going to hold him off. Looking a little further back, Jackson Lewis in the 7th, starting to close in on that battle, but with only 5 laps to go, I'm not sure if he has enough time. Sylvia gets into the back of Peterson. Contact is going to drop him out of second place, and now Jackson Lewis threatening for P3.
Oh, boy, Sylvia had a run, tried to make it stick, but ended up tagging Peterson. It ended up costing him. Now Lewis, able, like you said, to be able to jump right up on the back door of Sylvia. Looks to the inside. Sylvia trying to get a run, trying to get away, and he won't be able to hold on. 4 down with 4 to go. He will be able to hold on to that 3rd spot. Lewis threatening for that podium spot.
And the laps are running down. We're under 3 to go. And Kyle Terzak is absolutely gone from this battle for second between Christian Peterson, Jake Sylvia, and Jackson Lewis running 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, Peterson still trying to hold on as well, but I mean, what else can you say about Kyle Terzak? I mean, honestly, you know, for what we've been saying, what else can you say? The man has done it, literally. If he's able to hold off and get the white flag right here, which looks like he will, he's able to pull this off right here. This is going to be big for the 15 of Kyle Terzak.
It is. He's won 9 times in the regular season, and he's going to try to do it again. They're battling behind him for second. He don't care about that. Kyle Terzak gets the win, and it's Jake Sylvia holding off Christian Peterson. He'll take second at the line.
Wow, how about that right there for Kyle Terzak? Like we talked about a while ago, had to do it from the back, had EOL penalties, and points docked or added since we're backwards now. But still big right there for Kyle Terzak, obviously leading 38 laps. I'm telling you, baby, that right there, that's a drive for yourself right there. That's a drive for Kyle Terzak. And a good drive by Sylvia, one of them that had to start back there at the back as well and have to drive through the field. And Christian Peterson started on the pole, ends up getting him a podium as well. Awesome race right there. I'm only 1 caution and very, very clean for late model stock of all cars here at Bristol.
I think Kyle Terzak's trying to find a way to get that thing into the infield. He tried to do it right there. Didn't let him. Invisible gate. He's going to see if he can do it right here. Hey, he's found his way into the infield.
And going right through one of the iRacing trucks as well. Trying to do the burnout and literally going to pull it on the way up in victory lane. That is awesome. I got to be honest with you, Sky. I have never seen that ever on iRacing.
I didn't know that was possible.
I
didn't even know he was allowed to do that. I didn't know that was the thing you could do. But Kyle Terzak has figured it out, and he's going to get to burn it down here at Bristol. While he celebrates in victory lane, we're going to get ready for your results tonight. Finishing in first, that is Kyle Terzak in the 15. Jake Sylvia in the 1 brings it home second. Christian Peterson in third in the 71. Jackson Lewis in the 7 finishes 4th. Justin Crow in the 86, 5th on the night. Jake Grout in the 49 in 6th. Cody Dempster, 7th place in the 17. Anthony Yankello in the 79 in 8th. Last 2 cars in the top 10 going to be Ty Dennis in the 11 in 9th and Jared Shell in the 34 in 10th.
Yeah, and then you got Frank Barbary back there at 11th with Dylan Calabro. Saw him slide around a little bit. He must have called it a night. Obviously had that unforeseen contact. He ends up 55 laps down, the only one that DNF'd here this evening back there as well. So I tell you what, even though it was 12 cars, maybe 5 lead changes, 1 caution, it had everybody on the edge of their seats, that's for sure.
It was a very entertaining race, and we're going to take just a second here to get your top 3 pulled up into the booth, and we are going to start tonight with our race winner. That'll be Kyle Turzak. Hey, Kyle.
Hello.
You got an EOL to start the race, but you were able to come all the way back through the field and get it done tonight. Tell me how you did it.
Yeah, honestly, it was about driver. I feel like this track was barely abrasive, actually, looking at the tires, but you just had to keep the car under you and keep the tires on it. And towards that long run at the end of it, you could see people start falling off and also the outside lane was coming. So, we just had to pick and choose what lane, and I felt like the bottom was definitely where you had to save tire, and it was actually really hard to pass. So you kind of had to set them up. Sometimes you even had to pass them on the top. Justin Crow, me and him were like side by side at least like 3 times, and I couldn't get the move done because the outside was so fast. And when we took tires right there, I saw that Christian took 4, and I was on the outside of Lewis, and I got a good jump, and I crossed him over, and I got it done.
All right, well, tell me about kind of that lane choice there, because I think we saw some cars like Justin Crow that were more willing to get up to the top, but you seemed pretty content to just stick around the bottom the whole way through.
Yeah, I felt like when we were single file, you had to run the bottom, but I know Christian Peterson and all those guys, they're running middle, and I feel like that was a good line if you really had to push and pass someone, but I feel like in the long run you had to save tire, and I chose the bottom. I feel like that was the safe zone for your tires, and it worked out. At the end right there, I was 75 right front, so I definitely saved that right front more than the first run. So, learned a lot during the entire race. Didn't get to really qualify, so I didn't really get to, see where the track was at during the qualifying because I feel like it was about the same. So, definitely learned a lot during the race, and we showed that felt like we definitely had the speed tonight to go win.
All right, anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Crow Shim Shots for the amazing photos. You guys for the broadcast, Kyle, for putting this on. Our Camps Up Shop. We got every world record this week in every division on the short track side, on the Irish and officials. So go get the best setups in short track. I mean, that's hard to do, and Ryan has put a lot of effort, even in this setup. A lot of effort, and I want to thank everybody who's watching back home and Turzak Racing on Facebook.
All right, well, congrats on the win tonight, Kyle Turzak.
Thank you, appreciate it.
While we were talking to him, I believe Jacob has caught up with Jake Sylvia.
Yeah, we got Jake Sylvia up here. Jake, I mean, awesome run. Obviously, had to start at the back, had to work your way back up to the front. Tell us about your evening.
Yeah, I mean, overall pretty good, pretty clean. I burned through tire like no other getting up through the field that first run, so I was happy to see that yellow. I probably would have blown on a right rear, I don't know, within 10 laps or so that lucked out. But I don't know. I mean, I might have had a shot at Turzak, but I was sleeping on that restart. This track is so new now that they refreshed it. I thought we were in turn 2, so all of a sudden the field pulled off and I was just sitting there. So I don't know if I would have had anything for him. I feel like I under-adjusted on the pit stop, but, I'm just happy to get second.
That made you drop your beer, I guess, on that one for that restart. But, I guess you could say, but honestly, I mean, tell us about this, this playoff system, what you think about this, or point system, I should say, because when I came in here tonight, I was sitting there looking at, who won the race last week. They only got 1 point and everything is literally backwards. So I had to think, if I'd had too many beers, but I was looking at it, but just tell everybody, your take on how this whole point system is kind of, literally from no points or the less points is the guy that's up at the front.
I think for most people it's a little bit like tricky at first, but if you're old in golf like Kyle Adams, it's easy, and if you watch Supercross, it's easy. So that's how I do it. That's where I get it from. I think it's nice. it's easy to understand. Whatever spots you get, that's the points you got. So if you're 3 points behind, you're 3 spots behind. It's I don't know. It's a little bit weird to look at, but once you know what you're looking at, I think it works out, and it definitely makes each race very, very important.
Jake Sylvia comes home second here tonight. Jake, appreciate your time. And before we let you go, you got any sponsors, any shout outs you want to thank?
Yeah, RKM Setup Shop. Ryan came out here with the best setup out there. We proved that going 1-2. It was just, we did a good job. So happy to with them, and happy to have you guys and everybody else that, supports this league and able to put this show on.
Jake Sylvia ends up coming home second here tonight. Jake, appreciate your time. We'll see you next week, bud.
Thank you.
That was Jake Sylvia. Now I believe, Sky, you standing by with Christian Peterson.
I am. Christian, you got a copy?
Yeah, they're.
Tell me about that battle he had at the end there with Jake Sylvia. That was pretty tight.
Yeah, it was close, door to door coming in the line. I was just getting really tight, and I was just trying to hold him off. And I thought I might have had it sealed there when he got into the back of me off 2, with like 4 to go. But I was just so tight that he was able to close the gap back up, and he played it right. I gave him the middle in one of the corners there, and he ran it, and I tried to hold it wide open on the top, and it just got tight, and I smacked the wall off the corner, and he had the advantage from there. So it was fun.
Yeah, I want to hear about those lane choices, because we saw some drivers like Terzak that kind of stuck it to the bottom the whole way through, but we saw you and Sylvia were going right up by the wall in the later stint. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I just needed to loosen it up more. If I loosened it up more, I could have ran the bottom. The bottom was where to be. I was just so tight that I needed the racetrack, the extra racetrack to keep my speed going. Any more laps, really, I think my tires were going to start to hit a really bad cliff. So I was lucky that it ended when it did.
All right. Well, do you got anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight, Christian?
Yeah, just everybody at Skyline. Everybody puts the league on. Kyle, you guys, everybody shows up and races. Everybody should go join Trackmasters. They should sign up Thursday nights and continue watching and tune in for the finale of this Triple Crown Showdown. So it should be interesting.
All right. Well, congrats on third place tonight, Christian Peterson.
Thank you.
Well, it was a great race tonight. Jacob, you got any closing thoughts on what we saw?
Yeah, honestly, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. It was very clean, to be honest with you, Sky. It was very, very clean. We had that one caution, had a little bit of, just a little bit, contact right there. But that's what kind of shocks me is, usually when you get to the end of these races with these points on the line and, everything, for a Triple Crown being on the line, usually it starts to get a little bit hectic. And it didn't really get that hectic. It kind of just calmed itself down. A little bit with Sylvia Peterson, but all in all, very, very good race. A lot of strategy with guys trying to run the top to be able to make up momentum and make passes. And guys on the bottom trying to save tires. So all in all, very, very fantastic racing. Honestly, I'm glad to be back. I was talking to Kyle, man. He's happy for me to be back, at least for this week. We'll see what happens. But I'm telling you, baby, awesome race.
It was a lot of fun tonight at Bristol. And looking ahead to next week, we're going to Martinsville. So we're going from a big kind of half mile to a much lower banked half mile track. We're used to the high banks of Bristol and Slinger, so it'll be an entirely different challenge next week. That'll be the end of our night. For Bradley Cooper and everybody back at V-Speed, for myself, for Jacob, for Eddie Smith up here in the production booth, or in the announcer's booth as well. I've been Sky Shrek. This has been the Misfit Racing League Triple Crown Showdown. Have a great night.